My beloved child, you've been walking through your days carrying 1,000 silent burdens, unaware that every step you take is followed by my gaze. Every sigh you release is echoed in my heart. I have been quiet, not because I didn't care, but because I was waiting for this exact moment when your heart would be able to receive what I have been longing to say. But now the hour is urgent. I cannot hold back my voice any longer. This is not just another message, it is a divine interruption. A lifeline thrown into the storm you've been drowning in. You need to stop everything and listen. You've tried to find meaning in noise, looked for love in empty places, and waited for validation from people who never saw the truth of who you are. But I have seen. I have always seen. Not just what the world sees, but the soul beneath your battles, the child who never felt fully known, the dreamer who buried their hope in the name of survival. I see the cracks forming around your patience, the way your joy has become a mask, and the way you tell yourself to hold on without knowing what you're even holding on to. That is why I am speaking now, because you are at a spiritual crossroads, and the wrong step can cost more than you imagine. You are not reading this by chance. This moment has been divinely orchestrated. I've crossed oceans of time and eternity to get this message into your hands. The silence is over. I will not let you walk away believing I forgot you. I will not allow the lies in your mind to be louder than the truth I carved into your spirit when I made you. Hear me, I never abandoned you. Even when your prayers were unanswered, even when the healing did come the way you hoped, even when life seemed to crumble beneath you, I was there. I wept when you wept. I fought in unseen places when you thought you were alone. I have stayed faithful even when you doubted my goodness. And now, I am calling you back, not to religion, not to duty, not to guilt, but to relationship. To the place where your soul recognizes my voice and your heart remembers that it is still loved, still chosen, still wanted. This is your moment to return. To stop letting the wounds of your past define your future. To stop believing that you're too far gone or too broken to be used. I am not interested in perfect people. I am the God who breathes life into dry bones, who calls out treasure from ashes, who rewrites stories that the world has given up on. And you, yes, you are my story in progress. The world may not understand what I see in you, but I do not need their permission to move in your life. I need your yes. I need your heart. I need your ears to hear me right now. You are more than what you've been through. More than the fear that wraps around you like a chain. More than the regret you've worn like a second skin. I have called you mine, and that word mine is not temporary, not conditional, not dependent on your behavior. It is eternal. And right now, your spirit is feeling the pull of my voice because you know this isn't just another moment. It's a rescue. It's a divine breaking in. I am invading the silence to remind you, you were made for more. You were made for me. And no matter how far you've drifted, no matter what you've done or what you failed to do, I still want you. I still choose you. This is not just a message, it is my heart breaking open in front of you. Don't brush this off. Don't walk away again. Your destiny is hanging in the balance, and I'm here to pull you back from the edge. Let me speak. Let me stay. Let me be everything they never were. You don't need to hide anymore. I see you. I know you. And I'm not going anywhere. Stay here with me, this is only the beginning. I need you to pause right now before one more step leads you deeper into something not built for you. You may not realize it, but the path you're walking on is slowly eroding the parts of you that I created to shine. The smile you show to others is not hiding how weary you feel inside. And though you keep convincing yourself that you're okay, I can see what's unraveling beneath the surface. I'm not warning you to scare you, I'm pleading with you to protect you. What looks like a good opportunity, what seems safe and promising, is cloaked in deception. The enemy has disguised a trap to look like a blessing, and you're inches away from stepping into it if you don't turn your eyes back toward me immediately. I've whispered, I've tugged on your heart, I've closed doors and delayed plans not to punish you, but to redirect you. Because what's waiting ahead is not just pain, it's designed to shatter the very foundation of who you are becoming. You've ignored the unease in your spirit for too long, but that discomfort is me trying to break through your distractions. I have placed a shield around you more times than you know, and now I'm standing between you and danger saying, come back. Come back before the compromise pulls you further than you meant to go. Come back before bitterness becomes your belief system. Come back before you hand your heart to something that was never meant to hold it. You think you're being strong by enduring, but real strength is found in surrender. It's not too late to change direction, but you must choose quickly. Time is not waiting, and neither is the enemy. I'm telling you this now, not because I want to control your choices, but because I love you far too much to stay silent while you're being led toward destruction. You may think I'm overreacting, but I see what's coming in the distance: the heartbreak, the betrayal, the mental torment, and I can't bear to watch you go through it when I've already made a way out. Your spirit has felt it already, those quiet moments of doubt, the heaviness that follows your decisions, the lack of peace in places you once felt secure. That's me trying to alert you. Don't override what I'm stirring in you. Don't justify what you know I've already told you to leave. This isn't just a test of obedience, it's a turning point. You were never created to walk into something that tears you apart in my absence. You were made to walk hand in hand with me, even through fire, with peace as your covering and grace as your guide. But if you keep ignoring my voice, you will silence it completely. And the further you go, the harder it will be to recognize me when I try to rescue you later. So listen closely, I'm not shaming you. I'm reaching out to save you. Let go of the counterfeit. Release the illusion. Let me heal the ache that keeps pulling you into wrong places. I know what you've been through. I know you're afraid of missing out. But what I have for you cannot be compared with anything you're being tempted with. There is a divine detour I'm offering, a way back to the place where peace meets purpose and love restores every broken layer. You may feel like you've already gone too far, like it's too late to reverse the course, but you haven't. Not while you still have breath. Not while you still feel my spirit calling you. You have not failed too badly. You have not fallen too deep. This is me, standing between you and what wants to consume you, saying, don't take another step without me. I can undo what you regret. I can reverse what was broken. But only if you stop now and choose me. Let me turn you around. Let me bring you home. There's still time, but not forever. This is your wake-up call, your final warning before a wound is opened that will take years to heal. You don't have to earn your way back, you just have to stop walking away. The choice is yours. I'm right here, arms wide open. Turn around, child. Please, before it's too late. Why do you insist on holding burdens that were never meant for your hands? Why do you wake up every day dragging shame, guilt, fear, and regret like chains behind you when I've already shattered their power at the cross? This weight you're carrying, these silent responsibilities you think you must bear alone, I already paid the price to release you from them. You weren't created to manage this pain by yourself. You weren't formed to survive by suppression or numbness. You were designed to walk freely beside me, not buried beneath expectations, past trauma, or pressure to pretend. I saw every accusation hurled at you. I heard every harsh word that made you question your worth. I felt the pain when life demanded more from you than you had to give. And still, you try to prove you're strong by enduring alone. But I'm not impressed by your performance, I'm moved by your surrender. I am standing right beside you, hands extended, asking you to give me the very things you keep trying to fix. That anxiety you've been hiding under your smile. Give it to me. That inner dialogue that repeats all the ways you think you're not enough. Hand it over. That bitterness from old wounds that you keep replaying in the quiet corners of your soul. Place it in my hands. I'm not here to judge you for the things you're carrying, I'm here to take them off of you. I already carried the full weight of your pain when I climbed that hill and let them pierce my hands. I didn't endure that cross so you could live in cycles of self-condemnation and quiet suffering. I did it so you could breathe without shame, walk without fear, and live without heaviness. And yet you keep reaching down to pick up what I laid to rest. I see the way you smile for others and cry in secret. I see the way you pretend to be fine when your soul is cracking. You don't have to be the strong one anymore. You don't have to carry the responsibility of healing yourself. I already completed that work. You just need to receive it. But healing begins when you release, not when you strive. And that's what I'm asking you to do now. Let go. Truly. Not halfway. Not for a day. Not until the next wave of pressure hits. But completely. Let me take it. Let me hold what's too heavy. Let me carry the load that's in crushing your joy and robbing your peace. I want you to know that nothing you've carried is too ugly, too complicated, or too dark for me. I am not afraid of your mess. I don't flinch at your broken pieces. I came for this very reason, to lift what was killing you, to silence the lies that say you must fix it all before coming to me. You don't need to be okay to be with me. You just need to be honest. And right now, I'm asking you for that honesty. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me what you're tired of carrying. Tell me what you've hidden so deeply that even you forgot it was there. I already know, but I want you to trust me enough to give it voice. I want your trust more than I want your perfection. When you hand it to me, I will not drop it. I will not mock you. I will not turn away. I will redeem it. I will transform what burdened you into something that blesses others. But you must release your grip. You cannot carry crosses I already bore. You cannot fix what only grace can restore. Stop trying to prove your worth by what you endure. Your value was sealed by my blood, and it's final. Now breathe, child. Let go. Lift your hands, open your heart, and surrender what was never yours to keep. I am here not to add to your weight, but to remove it entirely. Don't wait until you collapse from the load. Give it to me now. Let me carry it and carry you too. You may think no one noticed when you fell apart behind closed doors, when the night swallowed your sobs and your pillow soaked up the pain that words could never carry, but I saw it all. Not one drop of grief has gone unseen. I've been present in every single breaking moment, quietly collecting every tear as sacred proof of your survival. I didn't turn away when you trembled beneath the weight of things you never asked for. I didn't abandon you when disappointment hollowed your joy. I didn't ignore you when the world kept moving, oblivious to the storm unraveling inside your soul. You've mistaken my stillness for absence, but I've been watching with the deepest compassion, holding space for every wound you couldn't explain. I've kept count not to remind you of your sadness, but because I intend to redeem every one of those tears. They are not meaningless expressions of weakness, they are evidence that you kept choosing to feel when it would have been easier to grow numb. Each tear carries a history of courage, a moment you refused to give up completely, a battle where you stood even with trembling knees. I know you wanted someone to notice, someone to stay, someone to hold your hand through the ache. I know you longed for a voice to say, I understand, while your heart screamed silently in a room full of people. And while others missed the signs, I did. I stayed. I listened. I wept with you. Because I am not a distant God observing from a throne of glass, I am the friend who sits beside the broken, the shepherd who kneels beside the wounded lamb, the father who rushes toward his hurting child. Your sorrow is not wasted in my kingdom. It's being sown into a story. I'm still writing a story where pain will become power, and wounds will be transformed into wells of healing for others who are drowning in silence just like you once did. I know you feel like nothing has changed, like the darkness swallowed your progress, like joy is something you have to borrow instead of own. But hear me, there is a purpose hidden in your pain that will erupt in glory when you least expect it. The very parts of you that were cracked open in suffering will become the places my light shines through the brightest. You are not fragile, you are sacred. And what you endured in private, I will use to bless others in ways you cannot yet see. But you must not give in to the lie that your pain was pointless. The nights you cried alone, the days you smiled through agony, the hours you spent praying for strength just to breathe, those weren't in vain. They are seeds. and every seed sown in tears will one day bloom in laughter. I will see to it. I am the God who redeems what the enemy meant to destroy. I am the one who rewrites bitter endings and brings resurrection where everyone else saw a grave. I am taking your tears and transforming them into testimony. The moments that nearly broke you will become monuments of my faithfulness. But don't let the delay deceive you. I am working in the unseen. Trust that I have already begun to bring beauty from the ashes you didn't ask for. I am not done. I am not distant. I am not unmoved. Let your tears fall, child. I can handle them. They are not weakness, they are trust. And I can do more with your surrendered sorrow than you can with forced smiles. Keep your heart open to me. Let me heal what you've buried so deeply. Let me remind you that sorrow may endure for a night, but I have promised joy will rise with the morning, and that morning is coming sooner than you think. Hold on. I'm turning your mourning into movement, your crying into calling, your ache into an anthem. You haven't seen the full picture yet, but I promise every tear was seen, every pain has purpose, and nothing will be wasted in my hands. You may not see it, but I do. Beneath all the weariness, under every layer of disappointment, buried beneath the survival instinct and quiet exhaustion, there is something in your heart that stirs me. Not because it's polished or perfect, but because it's real, authentic, unfiltered. I see the way you still hope, even when it hurts. I see the way you try to love others even though your own heart has been mishandled. I see the way you still talk to me in whispered thoughts, not out of obligation, but because something deep within you refuses to stop believing I'm there. That tenderness, that flicker of faith, that refuses to die, that is what moves me. That's what keeps me near you, even when you've withdrawn. That's why I haven't let go of you, even when you've doubted everything about yourself. I don't need grand gestures to stay close to you. I'm not looking for a perfect record or flawless obedience. What draws me is your desire to keep going when everything inside you says to give up. The way you still choose kindness when you've been surrounded by cruelty. The way you offer forgiveness even though it's not been returned. The way you wrestle with the tension between fear and faith but still keep showing up. That is beautiful to me. You are beautiful to me not because of what you do, but because of who you are, and no one's watching. I know you've been misunderstood. I know your intentions have been twisted, your silence misjudged, your kindness mistaken for weakness. But I've never misunderstood you. I know the exact reasons behind every decision you've made, even the ones that others question. I know why you held back, why you walked away, why you stayed quiet when you could have shouted. I see your heart, not just your actions. And what I see is someone worth fighting for. That's why I keep chasing you through the noise. That's why I keep interrupting your routine with whispers and unexpected moments that catch you off guard. I'm not trying to pressure you. I'm trying to reach the core of you. Because I know what's in there. The compassion, the longing, the purity that this world tried to harden. You haven't lost it. It's still alive. I'm protecting it, guarding it, defending it from becoming something it was never meant to be. There is a tenderness in your spirit that makes you uniquely valuable to what I'm doing on this earth. A sensitivity that isn't weakness, it's power. You feel what others ignore. You carry what others overlook. That's not a flaw. That's a calling. And I won't let that calling be silenced by the pressure to toughen up or blend in. You weren't made to fit into this world. You were crafted to reflect my love in a way that's raw, vulnerable, and deeply human. That's why I can't give up on you. That's why I won't walk away, even when you push me aside or forget I'm near. I know what's inside you. I placed it there. And no amount of mistakes, delays, or confusion can cancel what I see when I look at you. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere. Not because you've earned my loyalty, but because my love isn't based on behavior, it's anchored in identity. You are mine. You always have been. Even before you knew me, I was already drawn to the heart you carry. You may not understand why I keep coming after you, why I haven't moved on, why I still call you by your name when others label you by your failures, but it's because I see what they can't. I see the masterpiece still being formed beneath the mess. I see the warrior rising through the ashes. I see the vessel that will carry hope into places that have forgotten what light looks like. So no, I'm not giving up on you. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. I know who you are. I know what you're carrying. And I know what you're becoming. And it moves me deeply, personally, endlessly. So stay close. Let me show you what I see in you. You've been wondering why it's felt like everything is closing in, like the opposition has grown fiercer, like unexpected battles are rising from every direction without warning. It's not your imagination. It's not coincidence. It's not because you're weak. It's because you are dangerous to darkness. You've been chosen, marked, and anointed for a purpose that reaches far beyond your understanding, and the enemy sees the glimpse of glory I've hidden in you. That's why the warfare intensified. That's why the pressure doubled. It's because your obedience threatens his agenda. Your persistence in the face of pain disrupts the lies he's tried to bury you with. Every time you choose to get back up after being knocked down, it shakes the gates of hell. And he's terrified. You are not under attack because you're forgotten. You are under attack because you are favored. You are being targeted because you're carrying something holy, something set apart, something that the kingdom of darkness cannot control or corrupt. You don't see the full picture, but I do. And I can tell you this with certainty. The reason it's felt unbearable lately isn't because you're losing, it's because you're close to something significant. You are on the verge of a shift, a turning point, a breakthrough that will affect more lives than just your own. And the enemy is panicking. He's throwing distractions, lies, chaos, fear, and confusion at you, not because you're weak, but because you're aligned with me. The more you step into alignment, the louder his voice becomes, trying to shake your confidence and convince you that nothing's changing. But I'm telling you now, don't believe it. Don't fall for the deception. He wouldn't be fighting you so violently if you weren't carrying something powerful. He wouldn't be trying to isolate you if your presence didn't bring light into dark places. He wouldn't be sowing doubt if he wasn't scared of your destiny. That's why I'm asking you to endure a little longer, not because I want you to suffer, but because I want you to overcome. You are being trained in this fire, strengthened through resistance, equipped by the very battles meant to destroy you. I'm not letting this fight go to waste. I'm using it to sharpen your discernment, to deepen your roots, to build a foundation that won't be shaken when the weight of your calling begins to fully unfold. But here's what I need you to understand. You are not fighting alone. You've never been alone. My angels have surrounded you when you slept. My spirit has whispered direction when you were overwhelmed. My hand has protected you from things you didn't even know were hunting you. I'm covering you right now, even as you read this. You may feel surrounded, but you are also surrounded by glory, by promise, by me. Do not mistake the battle for abandonment. It's not punishment, it's positioning. I'm elevating you while the enemy tries to intimidate you. I'm moving mountains while he stirs up storms. I'm planting promises while he plants lies. And here's the truth. He can't stop what I've started. He can't undo what I've spoken. He can't write your story no matter how loudly he screams. What he can do is distract you long enough to miss the moment I've prepared. And that's why I'm speaking now, so you don't quit right before it shifts. So you don't walk away just as the walls begin to crumble. So you don't back down when I've called you to rise. Listen, beloved, this isn't just warfare, it's evidence. Evidence that you're chosen. Evidence that you're dangerous to every system of oppression, fear, and shame. Evidence that the mantle I've placed on your life is real and weighty and unstoppable. So stand tall, hold fast, and remember who you belong to. I am not intimidated by what you're facing, and if I'm not, neither should you be. The very resistance you're facing is confirming what I've been trying to tell you all along. You are special to me. You are worth defending. You are worth fighting for. And I will not let the enemy write the end of your story. I know the silence has been deafening. I know the long stretches without answers have made you question if I'm even still listening. You've whispered prayers into the dark and waited for a reply that didn't come in the form or timing you expected. And in that waiting, your heart has begun to doubt. You've wondered if I stepped away, if I withdrew when things got messy, if my distance means disinterest. But I need you to hear this now, because the weight of that silence has almost convinced you to give up. I never left. Not for one moment. I was closer than you realized in the quiet sighs you thought no one heard, in the stillness that felt unbearable, in the pauses that made you question your worth. I was there, not just near you, but within every heartbeat, every breath, every thought you couldn't put into words. My presence does not always announce itself with thunder or visible miracles. Sometimes it wraps around you like air unseen but essential. Sometimes it enters the room with no sound, just steady assurance that you're not abandoned. When you cried without answers, I was holding space for you. When you stared at the ceiling trying to make sense of it all, I was cradling your confusion with tenderness. I didn't speak because I was doing something deeper than words. I was teaching your spirit how to sense me even when your senses failed you. I was anchoring you beyond what emotions could validate. You see, silence with me is not rejection, it's refinement. It's not me pulling away but drawing you into the kind of trust that isn't built on feelings but on unshakable truth. I allowed the quiet so you could learn to listen differently. Not with your ears but with your soul. Not with your logic, but with your spirit. And though I didn't always answer the way you wanted, I was answering in ways you didn't expect, through unexpected peace and chaos, through closed doors that protected you, through inner strength that didn't make sense on paper. You thought I wasn't moving, but I was orchestrating things so delicately behind the scenes that to interfere prematurely would have unraveled what I was preparing. Silence was never abandonment, it was strategy. It was me shielding you from noise that would have drowned out my true message. And while you assumed I was distant, I was holding you together when you didn't even know you were falling apart. You can't measure my love by volume. You can't define my nearness by noise. I am not absent when I'm quiet. In fact, some of my closest moments with you were when you thought I was furthest away. I was with you in the confusion. I was right there in the waiting rooms, in the sleepless nights, in the heartbreaks that cracked you open. I sat with you when no one else noticed you were breaking. I defended you when no one knew you were under attack. And even when you doubted me, I never walked away. I never second-guessed my commitment to you. Your hesitation didn't make me hesitate. Your silence never silenced me. I've been faithfully present, working in dimensions you can't see, preparing things that your prayers didn't even cover, because my vision for your life is far greater than your requests. And now, as I break the silence with these words, I need you to stop equating delay with denial. I need you to trust again, not because everything is explained, but because my character has never changed. If you could only see how fiercely I've loved you through the quiet. If you could only feel how many times I wrapped peace around your mind when fear tried to overtake you. This isn't just another message, it's a reminder that I have always been here. And I still am. The silence has served its purpose, and I'm ready to speak again if you'll slow down long enough to hear. Don't walk away thinking I've forgotten you. Don't let silence write the ending of a chapter I'm still scripting. I am closer now than ever before. Don't doubt my nearest, just breathe and let me show you. The help you've been waiting for. The answer you've pleaded for in the dark. The breakthrough you stopped believing would come, it's already in motion. The rescue is not a concept. It is real. It is moving. It is time to collide with your life in a way that only I could orchestrate. But here's the truth that you need to hold on to with everything inside you. You cannot abandon this moment. Not now. Not when you are this close. The very thing your soul has cried out for is being sent directly to you. But if you turn around, if you walk away, if you give in to the pressure and silence your hope, now you will miss it. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm revealing how crucial your position is right now. Your endurance is not just about getting through, it's about holding ground until divine help arrives. I have seen the walls that feel too high. I know the depth of the valley you're trying to climb out of. I understand the exhaustion, the spiritual fatigue, the heaviness pressing down on your spirit. But even now, as you read these words, something is being dispatched on your behalf. The shift you've been begging for is closer than your fear wants you to believe. But it requires your agreement, your persistence, your trust not in what you feel but in who I am. I am not teasing you with empty promises. I'm preparing a divine reversal. I'm setting up a restoration that's going to unfold not just in one area, but in layers: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. But it hinges on one thing: you staying where I planted you. The enemy is banking on your exit. He's hoping you'll abandon your assignment just before I send the reinforcements. That's why the attacks have intensified. That's why confusion has tried to blur your direction. Because the rescue is too close now for him to sit back. He knows what's coming, and it terrifies him. So he's throwing distractions dressed as options. He's planting thoughts in your mind like, maybe it's not worth it, or maybe I misunderstood God, or maybe I should just let this go. But I'm stepping in right now to tell you don't. Not yet. Not here. Not when your answer is about to knock. If you could see what I've placed in motion, you would stand in awe. If you could hear the chains breaking in the distance, you'd never doubt again. But this is a walk of faith, not sight. And the door I'm opening won't appear until you've walked far enough to reach it. There are people you haven't met yet whose lives will be changed because you stayed. There are miracles with your name on them, queued in time, waiting to be released at the precise intersection of your obedience and my timing. Do not abort what I'm birthing. Do not cancel what I've designed simply because the labor has grown intense. You're not being punished or being put into position. You've come too far to retreat. Too much has been invested into your journey to quit now. I am the one who makes rivers in the desert and roads in wilderness. I specialize in impossible rescues. But they are always on my terms, not your timeline. Let me remind you of this. What I have planned is not fragile. It's not weak. It's not at risk of disappearing. But it does require your participation. You are not waiting in vain. You're being positioned for a divine intersection that will change everything. And if you stay with me, if you resist the urge to run, if you silence the doubt long enough to listen, you will witness something only heaven could produce. The rescue is not late, it's arriving in stages. Even now, I'm softening hearts, shifting circumstances, dismantling opposition. But if you give up now, you'll step away just as the door begins to open. Don't let weariness rob you of what I've reserved. Don't let emotions dictate your direction. Stay where my voice last guided you. Hold your ground. The help you've been aching for is almost here. You won't have to fight this much longer. The rescue is real, and it's already moving in your direction. But you must stay long enough to receive it. Don't walk away, not now. I know it looks confusing. I know it doesn't make sense from your side. Everything around you appears unsettled, uncertain, and contradictory to what I've promised. The road ahead seems blocked, and the circumstances keep echoing the same lie, that nothing is working, that nothing is changing. But I need you to stop depending on what your eyes can measure. What you're seeing is not the full picture, it's the scaffolding around something far greater that I'm constructing where no one can see yet. The disorder is not the conclusion, it's the preparation. I am intentionally allowing certain things to be hidden right now, not to frustrate you, but to protect the foundation of what I'm laying. You've been interpreting silence as delay, and chaos as denial, but neither is true. You're in the middle of a divine setup. And setups don't look like victories while they are happening, they look like confusion. They look like doors closing. They look like things being stripped away. But you need to understand this. I am not random. I don't waste experiences. I don't operate on coincidence. Every single detail of what you're walking through right now has been permitted for a purpose higher than your current understanding. While you're trying to hold on to what's visible, I'm working in realms that require trust, not sight. I'm shifting timelines. I'm reordering opportunities. I'm positioning people you haven't even met yet. I'm removing what you thought you needed so you'll have room for what's actually meant to carry you into your next chapter. The instability you feel is not me abandoning you, it's me realigning you. I don't reveal everything at once, because what I'm doing is bigger than your current capacity. I'm shielding you from premature exposure to what would overwhelm you if given too early. So while it seems like nothing is working, the truth is, everything is. But it's working in secret, in the layers beneath your awareness, where the most important things often grow. Think of seeds planted deep, buried in silence, invisible to the world. Yet under the surface, transformation is exploding. Roots are stretching, strengthening, preparing to hold up something massive. That's what I'm doing with you. What looks like being buried is actually you being positioned. The disappointment you feel is not rejection, it's redirection. You were never meant to stay where you were. The relationships that ended, the doors that shut, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, they didn't escape my notice. I allowed them to pass because they were not equipped to go where I'm leading you next. Don't cling to the visible while I'm building something eternal. Don't panic at the pruning. The reduction is making space for increase. And though I haven't explained every detail, that doesn't mean I'm absent, it means I'm God. You don't need full clarity to walk in obedience. You just need confidence that I never lie. And I'm telling you now, what you're walking through is not failure. It's formation. You are in the middle of something holy, something sacred, something designed to release you into a version of yourself that carries more wisdom, more resilience, more purpose than you've ever known. But if you judge it by what you see right now, you'll mislabel it. You'll try to escape what was sent to elevate you. You'll try to rebuild what I'm removing. That's why I'm calling you to look again, not with your natural vision, but with faith. Look deeper. Listen closer. Feel the pull in your spirit that says there's more. Because there is. So much more. What you're seeing is just the shell. What I'm building is still unfolding, still protected, still growing. And when it's time, nothing will be able to stop it from coming forth. Not delay, not confusion, not fear. But for now, I need you to trust me beyond what makes sense. I need you to stand even when the view hasn't changed. Because this isn't just a waiting season, it's a working season. And I promise you this, when I unveil what I've been preparing behind the curtain of your confusion, you'll see that it was worth every unanswered question. So keep walking. Keep believing. Because the setup is divine and the reveal is coming. You don't even realize how many moments were supposed to end you. Situations that, on paper, should have shattered your strength beyond repair. Encounters that were crafted to leave you paralyzed in fear. Choices that could have spiraled into ruin. And emotional wounds that had every intention of becoming permanent scars, yet here you are. Still breathing. Still standing. Still moving forward, even when trembling. That's not a result of good luck. That's not just resilience. That's me. Every time you thought it was over, and something pulled you through, that was me interceding without permission, stepping into timelines you never saw, blocking destruction before it reached you, and holding back forces that had every strategy in place to break you down. I've been your hidden shield, your invisible defense. You might not have seen my hand, but it was there in the closed doors that left you frustrated but kept you safe, in the friendships that ended before they could poison your destiny, in the disruptions that forced you to change direction before it was too late. You've looked back at certain seasons of your life and wondered how you made it through. The pain was too loud, the betrayal too deep, the weight too heavy. Yet somehow, the pieces didn't crush you. It somehow was me. I was with you in the quiet collapse. I was beside you in the nights you whispered, "I can't take this anymore." I caught every unspoken breakdown and cradled the pieces no one else noticed had fallen. Even when you thought your faith had disappeared, I was still honoring your existence with divine protection. You see, I don't guard you based on your performance. I cover you because of who you are to me. And to me, you are priceless. You survived more than most people know, and I haven't forgotten a single detail of what you've endured. But I didn't preserve you just to prove a point. I preserved you because your survival carries a purpose. Every hit you took that didn't take you out built something eternal within you. Compassion, courage, insight, depth. Qualities that can't be taught through comfort but only grown through pressure. You are more than a survivor, you are becoming a carrier of deliverance for others. There's a weight of wisdom inside of you that came from surviving what tried to erase you. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. He knew that if you made it through, you'd carry something powerful. He tried to stop you before that strength took root. But he failed. Not because you were stronger than him, but because I never stopped fighting for you. You have no idea how many times I stepped in when you were unaware. How many attacks I blocked that you never even saw coming. You don't realize how close certain situations came to destroying your peace, your mind, your calling. But I intervened not once, not twice, but continually. And I'm still intervening now. This is not the moment to question your worth. It's the time to recognize that your life is evidence of divine strategy. You're not just alive, you're preserved for impact. There is something inside of you that cannot be silenced because I am not finished with you. You've been marked by mercy, rescued by grace, and sustained by love. And now, you must stop seeing yourself as broken beyond use. You are not damaged goods. You are chosen. You are anointed. You are walking proof that I can bring people through fire and not let the flames consume them. And I'm going to use your testimony, not just to remind you of my goodness, but to awaken it in others. There is someone out there waiting to hear how you made it because your story will break chains off of them. So stop minimizing your survival. Stop hiding the healing I've begun in you. What you went through is holy ground now. It shaped you for this moment. And I promise you everything you made it through was for something greater. It wasn't random. It wasn't wasted. It wasn't unnoticed. You survived because I still have more to do through you. And I'm not done yet, not even close. There was a night, or maybe a morning, when you reached your limit. You were done pretending you were fine, done hoping for things that kept falling apart, done fighting invisible battles that no one else seemed to notice. That moment didn't just pass quietly, it marked a breaking point where the weight nearly crushed you. You may not remember every detail, but I do. I remember the heaviness in your chest, the way your hands trembled, the ache that wouldn't leave no matter how many times you told yourself to be strong. I remember the questions that stormed your thoughts, why it still hurt, why it wasn't changing, why it felt like even breathing had become a task. And when you told yourself, even silently, that you couldn't do it anymore, I didn't watch from a distance. I moved closer. You didn't hear me out loud, but I leaned in and spoke directly to your inner being. It wasn't a shout, it was a still, firm whisper that bypassed your emotions and carried strength straight into the bones of your faith. You didn't know why you got back up again that day. You couldn't explain how you managed to keep going when everything inside screamed for an ending. That strength wasn't self-created. That resilience didn't come from willpower. It was me. I breathed life into your surrender. I poured courage into your collapse. I took the fragments of your hope and fortified them quietly, so you'd have just enough to face another day. You see, I'm not just the God who celebrates your victories, I'm the one who sits with you in the valley, when the fire dims and the road disappears. When you couldn't pray, I prayed for you. When you stopped speaking, I listened to the groan of your soul. When you thought no one cared that you were breaking, I wrapped my arms around you without demanding you fix yourself first. The moment you wanted to quit wasn't the end, it was a turning point. It was where my power met your humanity and reminded you that collapse is not failure. That weariness is not sin. That pausing does not disqualify you. You've been far too hard on yourself for struggling. You've confused exhaustion with weakness. But let me say it clearly, what you felt that day was not defeat, it was a cry for help that I answered immediately. You didn't see me, but I was holding your spirit like a fragile treasure. I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't impatient. I was fiercely present. I didn't need you to perform, I just needed you to let me be your source. And that's what I've continued to be. Every time you've woken up and faced the world when you didn't want to, every time you've chosen not to give up again, every time you've taken one small step forward without fanfare or applause, I've been proud. Not because you moved mountains, but because you didn't quit on the day that told you to walk away. That's the kind of bravery I see in you. That's what makes you a miracle in motion. And here's what I want you to remember now. You don't have to reach that edge again to be close to me. You don't have to collapse to find my comfort. I'm just as near on ordinary days as I was in your deepest despair. But if you ever reach that moment again, if the weight returns, if the fatigue speaks louder than truth, if quitting feels easier than believing, I'll be there again. I will never grow tired of lifting you. I will never walk away from your breaking point. I will always whisper strength into your soul, whether you hear me or not. Because I don't abandon those I love when they struggle, I draw closer. I choose them again. And I choose you again and again and again. I know how tempting it is to retreat, to walk away from everything that feels heavy, unclear, or too slow to change. Your spirit is weary, not just from what you've endured, but from what seems to keep dragging on. You've reached that point where the enemy whispers, maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe you misheard. Maybe nothing will ever shift. But I need you to understand something crucial right now. What you're experiencing is not just another difficult stretch of time. It's a proving ground. It's the tension point between promise and fulfillment. It's where your heart is being measured, not by perfection, but by perseverance. You're not being punished, you're being purified. I've allowed certain pressures not to break you, but to reveal what you'll choose when clarity is absent and comfort is stripped away. Anyone can believe when everything is working. Anyone can worship when the outcome is obvious. But what I'm building in you requires a depth of trust that holds steady when everything else is shaking. I'm asking you to stay not because it's easy, but because staying is where the growth lives. It's where maturity takes root. It's where the surface-level beliefs die and deeper intimacy with me is born. I know how loud the urge to escape has become. I know how convincing it feels to choose the easier way, the familiar path, the numbing routine, the place where nothing is asked of you. But that's not where your calling is. That's not where your fruit will grow. That's not where transformation lives. What I've placed within you can only rise when you stay through the shaking. When you decide that my voice is louder than your frustration. When you remain even when it costs you comfort, certainty, and visibility. The enemy isn't after your comfort, he's after your commitment. If he can convince you to leave what I've started, he'll delay what I plan to finish. But you must not let the tension scare you into walking away. I am more present now than you realize. I'm not waiting at the finish line, I'm walking with you through every unresolved step. I'm shaping your character, not just your circumstances. I'm teaching you how to be faithful in stillness, not just productive in motion. I'm anchoring you so deeply that even when the wind howls and the skies darken, you'll remain unmoved, not because of willpower, but because of me. This isn't just a painful time, it's a sacred one. Don't waste it looking for exits. Don't resent it because it's not easy. Press in. Ask me what I'm trying to reveal. Ask me where I'm refining your focus, your desires, your motives. I'm removing what can't carry you into the next level. I'm making room for better, but that process feels like loss before it feels like promotion. I know you want relief. I hear your longing for resolution. But I'm calling you into something greater than quick fixes. I'm leading you into depth, into trust that holds even when results are delayed, into faith that lives even when feelings fluctuate. I'm asking you to pass this test by staying with me, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Don't detach. Don't numb out. Don't shut down. Lean in. Let this stretch refine, not destroy. Let this place become holy ground, not a place you ran from in bitterness. I have not forgotten what I spoke over you. But before I release it, I need to know that you're not just here for what I give, but for who I am. So stay, beloved. Stay even when it's uncomfortable. Stay when the answers are delayed. Stay when everyone else seems to be moving forward and you feel left behind. Because staying will unlock what leaving never could. Staying is how roots grow deep enough to support the weight of the glory I'm about to reveal in your life. And when the time comes, and it will come, you'll understand why I asked you to endure. You'll see that the fire didn't consume you. It refined you. It made you ready. But first to stay. Before you did anything right, before you accomplished anything remarkable, before you even understood who I was, I had already called you by name. My decision to choose you wasn't based on performance, qualifications, appearance, popularity, or religious record. It was never about how polished your life looked to others. I saw every weakness, every flaw, every struggle you would face, and I still said, "That one belongs to me." You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought in my plan. I didn't stumble across you accidentally. I created you intentionally. I formed you with care, with precision, with deep affection in my heart. When I looked ahead in time and saw every decision you would make, both the good and the regrettable, I still set my love on you. I still claimed you. I didn't flinch. I didn't hesitate. I chose you because I saw something in you that nothing in this world could erase: your identity as mine. That identity isn't something you can earn, and it's not something anyone can take from you. I placed it on your life long before anyone had a chance to define you by your pain, your past, or your problems. And I haven't changed my mind. You've been told by the world that you need to do more, be more, clean yourself up, and try harder in order to be accepted, but I've never operated that way. My love didn't begin when you finally got it together. It started when you were still tangled in your own confusion, searching for something real. I loved you before you knew how to love me. And even now, when you doubt your worth, when you feel unqualified or distant, when shame tries to convince you that you've blown it, I haven't withdrawn my choice. I didn't pick you because I expected perfection. I pick you because of my deep, unchanging affection. You're not loved because of what you do. You're loved because of who you are to me. And who you are is mine. You're not defined by your worst day, your darkest season, or your lowest moment. You're defined by the one who took your place, who gave everything to make you his. I did come for the ones who have it all figured out. I came for the ones who are willing to admit they need me. I came for you. I knew there would be battles. I knew there would be seasons where you questioned everything. But even in the questioning, I never let you go. Even when you felt lost, I held your place in my plan. You are not disqualified because of your mess. You are included because of my mercy. That's the difference between the world's love and mine. The world changes its mind. The world needs proof before it offers approval. But I gave you my yes before you even had the chance to prove anything. You are not trying to earn something. I've already given you everything. I want you to walk in that truth. I want you to stop shrinking under the weight of comparison and false expectations. I want you to stop trying to become lovable in your own strength. You already are. Because I love you with a love that's not based on how well you perform. It's based on the cross that sealed your identity forever. I chose you knowing you would stumble. I chose you knowing there would be tears, delays, and detours. But none of that scares me away. I don't give up on what I claim. And I claimed you. Not out of pity, but out of purpose. I saw greatness buried inside of you: gifts, insight, compassion, perseverance. You don't even know the full depth of what I've placed inside of you yet. What I do. And I'm calling it forward. So don't disqualify yourself when I've already stamped you with grace. Don't silence your voice because of your struggle. You are mine, and that truth is stronger than every accusation, every failure, every lie you've ever believed. I don't love a future version of you. I love you now. I chose you then. I still choose you now. And I will continue choosing you every single day forward. You keep replaying scenes in your mind that I've already forgiven, moments long buried in my mercy, but still alive in your memory. I see how you revisit old decisions like they hold the power to define your destiny. You examine them, mourn over them, question what you could have done differently, as if somehow, by reliving them, you can rewrite the past. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm not sitting with a list of your wrong turns, keeping score of how many times you stumbled. I'm not the voice that haunts you with guilt. I'm the voice calling you forward. And while you keep trying to make peace with your past, I'm here declaring who you truly are, beyond every regret. I'm not holding you hostage to the version of yourself that broke down, messed up, or gave in. I see the real you, a one still becoming, a one I formed before time began. But I can show you what I've written for your future if you keep clinging to the chapters I've already closed. Let them go. Let go of the inner narrative that tells you you'll never be enough. Let go of the shame that acts like it still has a claim on your identity. What you did is not who you were. Your story didn't stop in the place you stumbled. I'm not interested in defining you by your worst days. I'm shaping you by what I've placed inside you that's still rising. Your past is not your prophecy, and I refuse to let what you've been through become the ceiling of what I can do through you. You keep asking me to take away the pain, the reminder, the echo of choices that haunt your nights, but beloved, I already carried all of that. I absorbed every ounce of that weight when I took your place. I endured what you're trying to punish yourself for. I covered what you're still trying to atone for through self-doubt and silence. Stop punishing yourself for something I already paid for in full. The enemy wants to keep you circling in the wilderness of your past because he knows if you ever truly step into who I've declared you to be, you'll shake things in ways hell cannot contain. That's why the accusations are so loud. That's why you feel chained to old memories. But I'm breaking that pattern now. I'm silencing the internal replay of everything that went wrong, and I'm inviting you to tune your heart to the sound of heaven, the truth that says you're still called, still valuable, still chosen. I'm not reminding you of who you were, I'm awakening you to who you've always been to me. I've placed identity in you that isn't dependent on your behavior. It's anchored in the fact that you are mine. I created you not just with intention but with vision. I saw every version of you, and I still said yes. I don't unchoose those I call. And right now, I'm calling you out of self-condemnation and into clarity. The clarity that says you are not a prisoner to your past. You are not stuck in your mistakes. You are not destined to repeat cycles that I've already broken. Every time you replay the past, you delay the future. Every time you choose guilt over grace, you silence the voice of truth that wants to guide you forward. But that ends now. No more allowing the past to speak louder than my promises. No more letting regret write your next page. I've already turned the page. I've already made a way. I've already declared who you are. Redeemed, renewed, restored. I know you've made decisions you wish you hadn't. But I'm not focused on those, I'm focused on what I'm calling you into. I'm inviting you to walk in the freedom of someone who knows they are forgiven. Not halfway. Completely. Not for some things. For everything. Your identity is not in what you've done. It's in what I've done for you. So lift your head. Breathe again. The future isn't waiting on your perfection, it's waiting on your agreement. Say yes. Not to who you were, but to who I say you are now. What's coming next is not just another moment. It's a crossroads, one that holds the potential to shift your life in a way that nothing before it has. You've been walking through long stretches of stillness, enduring what felt like endless preparation, and wondering whether anything would ever truly shift. But I'm telling you now, the change is closer than you think. It's not random. It's not small. And it's not just a flicker of hope to get your hopes up. This is real. This is a divine intersection I've orchestrated, and if you stay in position, it will launch you into something completely new. But you must be alert. You must remain attentive, not with anxious striving, but with open-hearted expectation. Because this moment would look like what you picture. It won't come dressed in the same patterns as your past. It may even look inconvenient at first glance. That's why I need your eyes fixed on me, not on what feels familiar. I need your spirit to recognize my movement, even if your circumstances haven't caught up yet. You've been asking for me to move, and I have, but not always in ways you've anticipated. This turning point is not just about what I'm bringing to you, it's also about who you're becoming through it. I've been quietly shifting things around you so that when the door opens, you'll walk through it not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. I've been removing old attachments, stripping away false identities, challenging outdated mindsets, because where you're going can't be reached by who you used to be. And though it's felt like stripping, like loss, like confusion, I've been rebuilding you for this very hour. I've been fine-tuning your discernment so you'll recognize the opportunity when it presents itself. And yes, you will come wrapped in something that tests your trust. It may look hidden in risk, in uncertainty, or in discomfort. But don't be afraid. When your heart is aligned with me, you will not miss what's meant for you. I don't play games with your future. I'm not dangling promises in front of you like bait. I'm positioning you to receive what has been prepared long before you asked. But this moment, this divine turning point, requires your cooperation. It will demand a choice. Not a dramatic leap, but a quiet, internal yes to something unfamiliar. It will require letting go of what once made you feel secure but no longer serves the next season. The old support systems, the old ways of thinking, the old methods of protecting yourself, those cannot go with you where I'm leading. This shift will make room for new connections, new clarity, new anointing. But it begins with trust. Not blind faith, but trust rooted in who I've revealed myself to be time and time again. You've seen my faithfulness in your past. You felt my nearness in your pain. You've experienced my mercy when you least deserve it. Let those moments be your evidence now. Because what's ahead isn't just a detour, it's destiny. And I don't want you to sleep through it. I don't want the noise around you to dull the urgency within. Be still. Stay close. Watch for the moment that doesn't make sense but feels undeniably divine. That's where I'll be. That's where your breakthrough will begin. And when it comes, don't delay. Don't question whether you're ready. I wouldn't have allowed it to reach you if I hadn't already prepared you to walk through it. There's power waiting for you on the other side of that decision. There is healing. There is alignment. There is purpose that has been delayed not by denial, but by divine timing. And the timing is nearly here. You're not running in circles, you're nearing an intersection that has been marked for this very moment in your journey. But it cannot be forced. It must be embraced. So listen closely. Guard your focus. Be willing to move when I say move. Because this turning point will change everything, not just around you, but inside you. And when you step into it, you'll look back and realize this was the moment everything shifted. There were forces working against you that you didn't even see, pressures mounting beneath the surface, influences weaving into your surroundings with subtle, silent impact. You may have thought it was just bad timing, mood swings, or moments of anxiety, but in truth, there were spiritual forces deliberately targeting your rest, your clarity, your connection with me. I've been watching closely, not only when you cried out to me, but especially in the moments when you didn't know you were under attack. The heaviness, the confusion, the persistent noise in your spirit, it wasn't coming from me. It was sent to pull you away from stillness, to numb your focus, to steal the inner stability I've been building in you. That's why I've stepped in. Without sounding alarms, I've raised a boundary. I've placed a line that darkness cannot cross. You might not recognize it at first because my interventions often come quietly, like a wall that appears just in time before impact. But I assure you, what was threatening to pull you under has now been stopped in its tracks. I didn't allow it to reach your core. I blocked what was seeking to infiltrate your heart and poison your perspective. You may have noticed certain relationships dissolving, sudden distance from people or things that once felt familiar. That was me. Not punishment, but protection. I'm not removing what you love. I'm removing what was silently draining your joy. I'm isolating the sources of unrest so that your soul can finally breathe again. This barrier I've placed isn't rejection, it's a rescue. I've created a divine shield around your peace, because what I'm growing inside you is too valuable to be constantly shaken by outside instability. You've endured far too much emotional erosion. I saw the way your hope was subtly being dismantled by conversations that sounded kind but carried manipulation. I heard the way certain voices tried to convince you to settle, to shrink, to silence your hunger for more. And I refused to let anything continue trespassing in the territory of your healing. I am jealous for the wholeness I've been cultivating within you, and I will not tolerate interference from the lies that were designed to wear you down slowly. You don't need to fight to keep what I've already removed. Let it go. Let the space feel empty for a moment, because what I'm giving in its place will be more aligned, more life-giving, more rooted in truth. You've been wondering why some doors closed unexpectedly, why the momentum in certain areas felt like it collapsed without warning. That wasn't failure, it was intervention. That wasn't you being left behind, it was me cutting off access to what was secretly sabotaging your peace. You don't have to carry the burden of explaining why I move the things out of your reach. Not everyone will understand, and they are not meant to. This barrier is not about pleasing others. It's about preserving what I'm preparing within you. I'm teaching you how to value your inner atmosphere, how to protect it, how to honor what brings true rest. Because where I'm leading you next will require stability of spirit, not just strength of character. You won't be able to carry the next chapter if you're constantly weighed down by unnecessary battles. That's why I'm giving you this pause, this clearing, this unseen hedge. You may not feel it yet, but soon you'll look around and notice the silence where there used to be turmoil. You'll feel calm where chaos used to cling. You'll walk into rooms and realize you're not absorbing other people's unrest like you once did. That's my doing. That's the fruit of the barrier. I'm making it safe for you to rest again. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, relationally. I'm creating space for your peace to breathe without competition. So don't chase what I've blocked. Don't reopen doors I've sealed. Trust the stillness. Trust the lack of drama. Trust the holy quiet. Because it means the war over your peace has been interrupted by my hand, and you are now standing in protected ground. It's painful, I know, walking among people who overlook your heart, who misread your intentions, who only acknowledge you when it's convenient or beneficial for them. You've poured yourself into spaces that barely noticed your presence, let alone the weight of your silence when you withdrew. You stood in rooms where you tried to shrink yourself just to maintain peace. You've kept quiet about dreams and desires, not because you didn't believe in them, but because you learned that not everyone was safe enough to hear them. You felt invisible, undervalued, misunderstood. But I need you to hear me now. You were never overlooked by me. I have never misread you. From the beginning, I set my eyes on you with purpose, with divine affection, and I placed something within you that this world cannot categorize or contain. You were not made to fit into their molds, you were shaped by my hands to carry something sacred. And what I've written on your life, they were never meant to interpret. They don't see your internal battles. They don't hear the prayers you whisper when no one's watching. They don't know the depth of what you've walked through just to stand where you are now. But I do. And that's why their inability to affirm you doesn't change your assignment. Their opinions hold no weight in my throne room. I didn't call a committee to determine your worth, I declared it myself. I didn't wait for their approval before choosing you. I didn't consult their preferences before breathing vision into your spirit. What I've placed in you is holy, and holy things are often hidden. I've kept parts of your calling veiled, not to punish you, but to protect what isn't meant to be handled carelessly. You keep wondering why you haven't been fully seen, fully celebrated, fully received, but I'm guarding the parts of you that are still being shaped. Because if the wrong hands get too close too soon, they might distort what I'm building. Don't confuse hiddenness with insignificance. You've been tucked away, not forgotten. You've been preserved, not passed over. There's a timing to revelation, and I'm not just unveiling your purpose, I'm maturing you to carry it well. You're not behind. You're not lesser. You're not invisible in my kingdom. The ones who failed to see your value were never meant to define it. I never asked them to. You've been longing for recognition, for someone to say, I see you, and I'm telling you now I see you. I see the courage behind your quietness. I see the loyalty behind your long waits. I see the depth behind your simplicity, and none of it is lost on me. I have marked you, and that mark is not up for debate. You don't have to explain yourself to people who lack the lens to perceive your anointing. Stop exhausting yourself trying to convince the unqualified of your calling. You weren't placed here to win their approval, you were sent to fulfill my purpose. Their inability to comprehend you is not your failure. It's evidence that your identity is sourced from a higher place. You were born to stand apart, not blend in. You carry light that exposes what others want to keep hidden, and that alone will draw criticism. But don't dim who you are to make others comfortable. Don't lower your standard to be accepted by those who never had the capacity to handle what's inside you. I chose you knowing the misunderstandings would come. I anointed you knowing rejection would follow. I marked you anyway. I've covered you in the seasons where affirmation was withheld, and I'll continue to walk with you into the season where what I've planted will finally be revealed. The world didn't give you your worth, so they can't take it. Let that settle deep. They don't have to understand your journey. They weren't assigned to it. You are mine. I see it all. And I am proud of who you're becoming, even if others can't yet see what I've seen all along. There's a path I'm preparing that won't make sense to everyone around you, and if you wait until it does, you'll miss the timing I've ordained. What's coming will arrive with full instructions. It won't come wrapped in public applause or universal understanding. In fact, some may question your sanity, your direction, or your worth. But I'm not asking you to explain this move to anyone. I'm asking you to follow me without delay. I've given you glimpses, gentle nudges, that unmistakable stirring in your spirit that tells you things are shifting. You've felt it deep within you, that holy discomfort like something inside is too big to keep living in a space that's become too small. That's me, preparing you for movement that requires your yes before your clarity. I'm not looking for analysis, I'm looking for alignment. I'm not waiting for your ability, I'm responding to your availability. This next chapter hinges on a simple decision. Will you obey even when the roadmap isn't detailed? Will you follow when you can't yet see where your feet will land? Will you trust that I have gone ahead of you, even when the terrain looks unfamiliar and your hands feel empty? I know your mind wants guarantees. I know your heart wants confirmation from others. But some of the most significant doors I open require you to walk through them alone with me. No crowd, no validation. Just you, your faith, and my voice. I'm calling you into a place where your character will grow faster than your comfort. A place where faith becomes not just something you talk about, but something you breathe step by step, without needing to know what's around the corner. You're about to step into territory where the rewards aren't instant, but the fruit will be lasting. Where people may doubt your direction, but heaven will back every move. The noise around you may increase. Opinions will multiply. Logic may scream that this isn't the right time. But my spirit will whisper, now. And you will know it's me not because it makes perfect sense, but because it brings unshakable peace in the middle of unanswered questions. I'm stretching you, not to scare you, but to grow you. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. This isn't uncertainty, it's sacred invitation. You've asked me to take you deeper. You said you want more of me. This is how it begins, not in the light of full understanding, but in the quiet courage to obey when only I see the outcome. I'm not asking you to perform, to impress, or to prove yourself. I'm asking you to trust me enough to move when I say move. Your obedience is going to unlock things no amount of striving could ever achieve. It will break chains, open access, restore what's been lost, and accelerate what's been stagnant. But it starts with surrender. Full, undiluted surrender. Not, I'll go if it makes sense, but I'll go because you said so. I don't need you to have it all figured out, I need your heart to be positioned in humility, willing to follow me at the sound of my whisper. I need your hands open and your plans surrendered. Because what I have for you isn't found in logic. It's found in listening, in stillness, in quiet trust that I'm not just leading you, I'm walking with you. I see the wrestle in your heart. I see the part of you that wants to obey, but fears what might fall apart if you do. But hear me, anything that breaks in the process was never built to last. I will not allow you to lose anything that was meant to stay. I will only strip away what can't sustain the future I'm calling you into. So take the step. Say the yes. Make the move. Even if you have to do it trembling. Even if no one else understands. I will meet you there. I will provide. I will confirm. But only after your feet move forward in faith. This is holy ground. This is a divine assignment. And it starts with one obedient heart willing to follow me no matter what it looks like to anyone else. You keep looking outward, scanning your surroundings for confirmation, hoping for a flashing signal in the sky, a loud word from someone else, or an unmistakable event that tells you you're on the right track. But child, look again, not out there but inward. You've been asking for evidence that I'm moving, that my hand is still on your life, that you haven't missed what I've promised. And yet you overlook the very proof living inside you, the resilience I've built, the wisdom that didn't exist before, the way your heart beats differently now, softer, deeper, more awake to my presence. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are the living result of grace that kept moving even when everything around you stood still. You are the miracle in progress, the vessel shaped in the dark, the promise clothed in flesh. Every trial you've endured, every detour you thought disqualified you, every moment you kept walking when you didn't even know where the road was headed, it all led here. Don't minimize that. Don't dismiss what I've been building simply because it didn't appear with fireworks. I've been preparing you piece by piece, refining your mind, healing old places, maturing your perspective. And now, you are standing in the beginning of what I crafted in secret. You think you need more validation, more clarity, more signs, but what you truly need is to recognize that you've become what you once prayed to see. I've taken your brokenness and transformed it into beauty not visible to the eye, but undeniable in spirit. The fact that you still hope, still believe, still long for me, that's supernatural. It didn't come from your own strength. It came from my spirit sustaining you in silence. You are carrying something this world needs, something heaven entrusted to your care. And yes, it's quiet now. Yes, it's unseen. But that doesn't mean it's small. The greatest works I do begin in the hidden places. Seeds, not spotlights. Roots, not recognition. Don't despise the slow unfolding. Don't curse the season where nothing seems to be happening. You are becoming. And in becoming, you are announcing something far louder than a sign in the sky ever could. Your endurance is the signal. Your transformation is the evidence. Your obedience in the unseen places is a declaration to heaven and hell alike that my plans for you cannot be stolen. You asked me to confirm your purpose, but I already did, when I kept waking you up day after day, pouring breath into your lungs and writing fresh mercy over every regret. That was me confirming. That was me saying, I'm not done. Every time you forgave when you could have retaliated, every time you showed up despite your fear, every time you believed again after disappointment tried to shut you down, you were revealing the sign you've been waiting for. It was never something I had to send. It was something I was forming. You are the walking confirmation. You are the evidence of heaven's investment. You are the answer to someone's silent prayer, though you may not realize it yet. Stop asking if you're enough. Stop questioning if I've really chosen you. Look at what I've done. Look at who you've become, not perfect, but transformed. Not flawless, but surrendered. Not finished, but deeply, undeniably mine. I never called you to be a sign for yourself. I called you to shine my glory through your journey. And you've been doing that, even when you didn't feel it. The way you love through pain. The way you serve in obscurity. The way you keep choosing truth when lies try to seduce your mind. That's light. That's impact. That's purpose. So no more waiting for a voice from outside when I've been speaking from within. You are the sign, beloved. The change you wanted to see started in you. Walk boldly now, not because the path is fully visible, but because your life already proves I am here, I am working, and I am faithful to finish what I've started in you. You spent so much time trying to hide the parts of you that feel fragile. You cover your limitations, you silence your doubts, you push through exhaustion, fearing that if anyone saw what you struggle with beneath the surface, they'd question your strength. But I don't see your weakness the way the world does. I don't despise it, and I don't require you to erase it to be useful. In fact, I allow it. I even work through it, because it's in those very cracks that my glory pours through. Your weakness is not a flaw in my design, it's the space where dependency is born. Without those gaps, you'd forget how deeply you need me. Without those private wrestlings, you'd slip into a rhythm of self-reliance, doing things in your own strength, carrying burdens I never asked you to lift. But when you feel your lack, your limits, your aching places, that's when you reach for me. That's when your prayers become real again. That's when your spirit quiets enough to hear my voice. It's not in your perfection that I'm most glorified, it's in your dependence. I'm not trying to make you invincible. I'm teaching you to be connected. I'm drawing you into a relationship that isn't built on how much you can carry, but on how quickly you run to me when the weight becomes too much. There's a tenderness I've developed in you through your weakness, a gentleness you couldn't have learned through ease. You understand others more deeply now. You recognize pain in others' eyes because you've lived through it yourself. That empathy, that compassion is born not from power, but from pain. And I'm redeeming every ounce of it. You've cried over the things you wish didn't slow you down, the fears that still whisper in the corners of your mind, the habits that haven't broken as fast as you wanted, the patterns that seemed to revisit you when you thought you were free. But I'm not shaming you, I'm still shaping you. And part of that shaping involves reminding you that my grace isn't just a starting point, it's your constant source. You don't graduate from needing me. You don't outgrow your dependence on my spirit. In fact, the deeper you walk with me, the more you realize how essential that connection truly is. That's why I've let certain weaknesses remain, not to torment you, but to tether you, to keep you grounded in me when the world tries to pull you into self-made identity. I never wanted you to live pretending you have it all together. I wanted you to live honestly, freely, with a boldness that comes from knowing your value isn't in your perfection, but in your belonging. You are mine not because you're flawless, but because you said yes to the one who is. When you bring me your weakness, I don't turn away. I draw closer. I meet you there with strength you didn't know was available. I lift your chin when your shame tries to push it down. I wrap my presence around you like a cloak when your strength wears thin. You've heard the world say, be strong, but I say, stay close. Because in closeness, I become your strength. In surrender, I release supernatural endurance. In humility, I pour out wisdom. You've been trying to fix yourself in the dark, waiting to be more whole before showing up fully, but I'm calling you into the light just as you are. Not so I can expose you, but so I can empower you. What you've called a flaw, I've used as a doorway. What you've seen as a hindrance, I've woven into a testimony. I don't need you to be anyone else. I just need you to stay with me, especially when your weakness rises. That's when I do my best work. That's when miracles begin. Not when you're the strongest, but when you stop pretending to be. I'm not looking for perfection, I'm looking for honesty. Bring me the weight. Bring me the wrestle. Let your weakness be the very thing that keeps you leaning not away, but toward me. Because I'll always be here, ready to carry what you can't, and to turn even your weakest moments into holy ground. Amen.